Hi, and welcome back to module number 2, Develop Yourself and Pursue Your Potential. I'm glad you're here again to come back for some more valuable information to start catapulting your life to the next level, and then the next, and then the next. So today we want to talk about developing yourself, and I'll share with you some examples that I've used to work on me from the inside out. So I have a few notes here that I'll be referring to, and I can't help but think of the movie Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts as she portrays Liz Gilbert, who was unhappily married. She had the husband, the white picket fence, and she couldn't figure out why she was so unhappy. And she went on a quest around the world, and she found herself, and in that she also found so many other wonderful things, true love again, balance, peace, and this awakening within. And so I want to share with you how to do that with yourself without having to travel the world or leave your husband. Does that sound good? I thought so. So I'll go back to where I was about 2 years ago when I hit rock bottom. I was very miserable. I had a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things weighing me down, and I really wasn't happy. So, to get to the bottom of it, it really had been because for 31 years of my life, as long as I could remember, all I ever did was spend my life making other people happy. I never figured out what I needed to make me happy. And that's all part of developing yourself, is to figure out what makes you happy, what makes you tick, what makes you passionate, what are things that catapult you out of bed and give you inspiration from within. And so Julia Roberts explained in Eat, Pray, Love, there's a line in the movie, she said, "I actively participated in every aspect of creating this life." So she couldn't figure out why she was so miserable. She thought she wanted the husband. She thought they wanted the nice big house and the white picket fence and her job and her career. But she never did soul searching within. It's just, you look around and everybody else and you think you have to keep up with them, and that's really not the truth. True happiness comes from within, and so we need to dig those pieces out of us to figure out what makes us happy, not what should we do based on everyone else's opinions, because I did that and that got me in trouble, and it helped me get to my place where I was not happy. I didn't want to get out of bed. I moaned and groaned for months because I didn't want to go to work, and and I had to show up every day with a smile on my face, and I was pretending. And it wasn't until I started asking myself the right questions about what do I want and what am I doing that's not helping the situation, is when I started to uncover the truth that was there all along. And so when we talk about developing ourselves, I think first we need to get rid of the old things that no longer serve us. For example, in my chiropractic practice, and being a chiropractor was one thing that really there's a lot of stress and pressure, because I had a coach who taught me how I should practice, because it was the way that made him successful. And every day I would, the longer I would do it his way, the more I was really robbing myself of my way and the way that I wanted to run my practice. And so running my practice the way someone else wanted me to led to it was probably the number one reason to my downward vicious cycle, which at this point I'm thankful for that I went through that. But it wasn't until I said, okay, I'm not happy running my practice that way. I had to start asking myself some serious questions. What am I happy with? How do I see myself practicing? What are those things that I'm doing just by default because I know no other way? And I had to totally reinvent my practice. And I did that, and it brought me much more happiness. And I showed up as an authentic chiropractor. And so, I had some happiness, but it was fleeting. And here's why. Because I was only working on the aspect of me that I identified myself with, and that was a chiropractor. And another lesson I learned in the movie Eat, Pray, Love is that you can't define yourself by your title. That's just what you do. It's not who you are. And I didn't know at 31 years old, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what it meant to be authentic. I didn't know what it meant to question every little move I made. I didn't know that, but it brought, I started asking myself question after question after question to be truly involved in everything that I did in life. I was conscious and I was aware of, if I do this, it causes this. If I think this, it causes this. And so I started peeling back the layers. And if you look at my logo, it's also peeling back the layers, almost like an onion. You're peeling open to get to the true middle. And pursuing your potential and developing yourself, the theme of today's talk, is all about that. It's peeling back the layers, one after the other. And I talked about this last time. It's our mothers, fathers, teachers, preachers. The outside world helps give us the outside lining and helps fill in, our thoughts on different aspects of our lives. But what is really in the middle? What is in your heart? What is in your soul? And it's when you start peeling back the layers and you start developing yourself that you can get to that inner source, and you can figure out what does make your soul really happy. And so at that moment, I knew that being a chiropractor was not my everything, and that I had more in me, and that I had to start peeling back. And again, that's the whole purpose of why I'm here today in front of you, and why I'm teaching these things, is because I feel like there's too many of us that struggle in an identity crisis. We are, our title, or we are a mother, or we are a father, but what is our soul? What is our soul urge? What is our soul calling? What is our soul yearning for? And so developing yourself, or developing myself, takes a lot of introspection, a lot of questions within to say, all right, let's figure this out. Let's learn about you. Let's figure out what makes you unhappy and get rid of those things, and let's start bringing more of the things that make you happy into your life, and filling up your space with an environment that feeds your soul rather than robs your soul. And that's another reason why I don't watch TV. My husband and I will pick one show at a time, and we'll watch those. But I don't watch the news. I don't watch reality shows. I don't watch those things, because to me, that's just putting garbage in my outer layer. It's filling up my environment with things that don't serve me. And so as I work on, and knowing that working on myself is so important, that in my free time, I don't want to be thinking about these events or things or people that really mean nothing to me. I believe the world news is important, but if there's nothing I can do about understanding what's going on in another country, if there's nothing I can do, then I'm going to spend my time on things that there is something that I can do to give a positive contribution back. And again, that's all part of developing myself, is knowing, okay, I could either be sitting idly by, or I can make positive contributions into this world. So I want to ask you this. As you think about developing yourself, what are some things that you do that no longer serve you, that really aren't benefiting you overall, that aren't really helping you reach your potential, that really are either a time vampire or an energy vampire, we all have energy reserves. And so are you spending time in things that fill you up or like suck your energy out of you? And that's a really important question to ask. And let's say you have an 8 to 5 job and your energy is robbed from it. Well, what can you do if quitting your job is not an option, and maybe getting a different job or starting your business or whatever it is? If that's not an option, I completely relate. When I hit rock bottom and I wanted to not be a chiropractor anymore, that was not an option. I was solely supporting my family, and I didn't have any source of income to fall back on. And so quitting was not an option. I had to fix it. I had to fix what the source of the problem was. When I was really unhappy with showing up to work, and I was really struggling with a lot of things, it was a very dark place. I had to work. I had to fix it, and there was nobody around that could help me. It was all up to me, and it's all up to you. You can't have anybody help you. I'm here supporting you, and I'm helping illuminate the path to help you reach your potential, but I can't fix it for you. You're the only one that can do the work. And so that's what we're going to start working on today. We're going to develop yourself, help you do the work to uncover what is holding you back, what's sucking your energy, and then what are things that you can do to fix it. Now, I will tell you, the answers are already there. They're already inside of you. Please join our Facebook group so that maybe our work together or our constant interaction can help shed light on some of those solutions for you. I'm very solution oriented. But ultimately, you're the one that has to do the work, and you have to find the answers. Our group and this material here in front of you are only tools to help you do all of that. So I don't have all the answers, but I'm happy to support you and encourage you and shed light on maybe some things that you haven't thought of yet before. So what I want you to do for this exercise is I want you to take out the homework that we did last week. So if you need to pause this video and find your homework from last time, go ahead and do that now. Okay, so now hopefully you're back with us and you have your PDF workbooks from last time. So the first workbook, the worksheet that I gave you, had the pie chart with all 7 areas of your life. And then this time, the second PDF is what we're going to work on today. It had all 7 areas of life, followed by a list of all the things in that area of life that are really good and going well that you're grateful for. And on the right-hand side of this sheet of paper, it had a list of all of the things that need improvement. So as we develop ourselves, we want to look at those things that need improvement. And so when we do this, there's really one, rather than being overwhelming and go, okay, let's fix all of these things now, there's probably some themes, some underlying themes in those areas of life that maybe you can find 1, 2, maybe three tiny little habits that you do each day that are the culprit for some of those factors that need improvement. For example, when I labeled my finances as a 4, I also found out and discovered that my job and my practice, the way that I make money, was also a 4. And so that led me to discovering, okay, well, this certainly needs improvement, and what are the things that I could be doing to improve that? And so what I listed was that I can start creating with the things that I'm passionate about. I can start creating a program just like the one that you're sitting here that shows my expertise and it shows my passion. It's something I'm really excited about teaching, and I can do that. And I can charge people for it because you pay a lot of money to go to a Tony Robbins seminar or read a book. That's a lot of time and money, If you don't have that much time to read 7 books, then you can come here for 30 minutes a week and you can get a lot of valuable lessons and some actual tools to put into place. And to me, that's valuable. And you've paid a sum of money to be here. And so with that, it will help my job and it will help my finances. And that was one little thing that I could do. Well, actually, it was a big thing because I had to put all the pieces together to make this happen. But and this is just an example, is there has to be 1, 2, or 3 little things that if you just made a slight change in your habits or your behaviors or your thoughts or your actions, those slight changes could start to change the outcome or change your scores in that entire pie chart in many levels in many different areas of life. So if I can do this program and make more money, it helps my finances, it helps my job, it helps how much fun I have, it helps my spirituality because I feel like I'm connecting with God. I asked for God to send me all of the right information to share with you. I did not plan out 30 minutes worth of notes. I just asked the source, please just let me be here with you. Let me be real. Let me be transparent. Let me be raw. And please just send all of the information that I need to share. And so it helps my spirituality. This is my purpose. It helps catapult my purpose. So I label my purpose as an 8.5. When I do this, I'm totally on purpose. I might even want to score myself as a 10 out of 10 when I'm doing this. So you can ask yourself, when you look at the wheel and you look at the different areas of your life and you look at the things that need improvement on that list, what needs the most improvement and where is there you can make a small shift that will start to develop yourself and develop the areas of your life so that you have better outcomes, so that you're happier with who you are and what you're doing and how you're spending your time and your energy and your money. So let me look at my notes, because I did make some notes, but not 30 minutes of notes, and just make sure I'm not missing anything. So this is really good. So again, I'm using Eat, Pray, Love as an example. There's a lot of that very valuable lessons when we work on pursuing our potential. We look at developing yourself. So we all have pain, we all have struggles, and what I love about our Facebook group is that you guys are sharing those things. That you're being real and you're being transparent and you're letting it all out there, and I love that. And the more you learn about me, the more you'll see that I'm doing the same thing. And before I hit rock bottom 2 years ago, I didn't really ever struggle in life. Like, life was always pretty good. I was always positive, always outgoing. I mean, I had times when I first opened my practice where I thought I was going to have to move back home with my parents. Like, I had some struggles, but nothing that lasted as long as it did this last time. And so that was really hard, and it was like I wouldn't change it for the world, because being uncomfortable for that long made me like really get to the bottom of it and said, okay, I really have to dig in here and I have to find out what this thing is that's robbing me of my life and my happiness. And I got to the bottom of it. It was because I spent my whole life working on making other people happy, but developing myself came out of that journey in the fact, like, oh my gosh, I have to make myself happy, because if I'm not making myself happy, I can't expect anyone else to. And before I went through this and I had to ask myself all those hard questions, I used to think my husband was the source of my happiness, that it was his job to make me happy. And that's really not a good place to come from. How can you expect anyone to love you, right, if you don't love yourself? And so I learned that my husband couldn't make me happy, that I had to do it. And so I would do something and it would make me a little bit happier, and then I would fall back down into this like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Like my peaks and my valleys, right? We all have those. And so I would get into a valley and I'd be like, okay, well, I just fixed that, but now I know I need to fix this. And I kept fixing all these things on the outside. I kept thinking, okay, if I get this furniture in my office, I'll be happier. Oh, if I set up my tables this way, if I do feng shui in my office, that'll make me happy. Or, oh, if I take Fridays and Saturdays off, that'll make me happy. Oh, if I fire my receptionist and get a new one, that will make me happy. Oh, if I invest in the software and it's guaranteed to bring me new patients and I'll get rich, that'll make me happy. Like, I was constantly like searching for these shiny pennies, and I was developing the outside world. I was not developing the inside me. And so I would develop all these things on the outside, and they would bring me momentary levels of happiness, but nothing that lasted. And it was very frustrating. And I probably have been doing this for the last 7 years. Until I realized that, oh my gosh, I have to look in the mirror, I have to have a conversation with myself, and I need to develop myself. And you probably need to develop yourself too, because it's an ever-going journey. Even if, let's say, your hard times were years ago and you've already developed yourself and you already think you're good, well, I think there's a time and a place that we constantly have to be reinventing ourselves, or refining who we are and what we do and what makes us happy. And I think that's what brought me to so much unhappiness is, I had finally reached my goal of becoming a chiropractor, because that's all I ever wanted. For 20 years, I wanted to be a chiropractor, was finally a chiropractor, and then I was like, okay, now what? And in that process, I was finally happy because I reached my dream and my goal, but then I stopped making goals, and I stopped, excuse me, turn my dinger down on my computer. I got comfortable, way too comfortable. I called it my fat cat syndrome. I was just comfortable in my office, and my phone rang every day with new patients, and I did a good job, and I had plateaued. I didn't have to grow. I didn't have to expand. I was just comfortable. My bills were paid and then some. And then one day it just went kaplook, because I got too comfortable and I didn't do the work that I needed to do to sustain that and to grow and expand. And so I'm here today because in that peak, or that valley, I learned that life, you can't get comfortable in life. You can't be content, because you never know when something will just poof and be gone, and everything that you worked for is no longer there. And now things are much harder. And that was what I had to go through. I had to go through that to go, okay, I can never stop pursuing something. I can't stop pursuing something that's worth living for. I need to have goals. I need to have a vision. I need to have purpose. I need to reach my true potential. And once I think I get there, there's more to go. And that's the same with you. And that's why I've created this group, is so we can all do this together. Because I don't want to ever get comfortable again. I want to be uncomfortable, because you know that growth happens outside of your comfort zone. And so we have to develop ourselves. We have to get to the root. We have to peel back the layer after layer after layer after layer. We have to start connecting with who we are and who we're meant to be. And for all of us, that looks different. So I hope that you'll take your homework and you'll start working on this week. It'll be your homework to even just identify what those habits or thoughts that you need to change. Just identify with what they are. You don't even have to take a massive action this week. I promise you, by just being aware of what needs improvement and what, like the 1, 2, or 3 tops, the 3 top small habits, because again, I don't want this to be overwhelming. If this is overwhelming, you won't see through these 52 weeks. And so it can't be overwhelming. You need to just do a little bit at a time, because you have the whole rest of your life ahead of you. But if you can take and you can look at that whole picture and really kind of remove yourself from what's on the paper and say, okay, if I had to analyze this, if that was my job, to analyze this and maybe be like the managerial type and say, this is what we need to do, you have to find the biggest culprit. You have to find the smallest habit that will make the biggest difference, right? Like this program, for example. This program will be huge because it's what I want to be doing. I want to be healthier so that I can be a better example for this program. I want to put like all of my eggs in this basket. I want to it's all I think about. I want to do this program so bad. So what is there that you could do now? You could just identify 1, 2, or 3 either habits, ideas, thoughts, actions, whatever it is. What can you do that will start turning around those areas of life and giving you better outcomes? Is it Friday date nights with your spouse? Is it being more present with your children and putting your phone down? Is it saving money when you usually spend it? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you're saving too much money and you're not spending enough on you. Maybe you need to pamper yourself. Maybe you need to go get a massage or an adjustment or a pedicure. And that's one of our modules that we'll talk about, is the benefits and the rewards in taking radical self-care and really taking amazing care of ourselves and investing into our life and our vessel, that it actually yields really big outcomes. And so we'll talk about that later too. But just wanted to shed light on that. So how can you develop yourself? And this is one of the foundational pieces, because what we do today and what we do in this module will carry you through the next 52 weeks. What you do today will just start to blossom into like, oh, okay, like I've been saving my money now. Now I want to get to the next habit that I can work on. So don't overwhelm yourself. If you have any questions or concerns or need a little bit of help or guidance, please reach out to me. I would love to help you shed light on maybe a few things that you can't see clearly. It's interesting because the people in our lives are usually able to have a different sense of clarity on our own life, because they see it from the outside perspective. And sometimes it's really easy to have our blinders on. So don't beat yourself up over this exercise, but we are working on this week, these next 7 days. You're going to work on developing yourself and all that you can do to make yourself a better person from the inside out, because we can't work on our environment. I mean, we can, but that's not going to make us a better person. Trust me, I did that for years and years and years, and actually just poof, I never worked on me. And so this module is all about working on us, developing ourselves, uncovering ourselves, figuring out what really makes our soul happy. So until we meet again, good luck with your homework. I hope you have a killer week, and just keep working on you, pursuing your potential. We'll talk next time.